Hey guys, MrPopZit here. This is an older video. I was going through my archives and I was like, I never posted this. This one's awesome. So I hope you enjoy. You might notice that it's from a little ways back. Also, we just passed 1 billion views last week. Just wanted to thank all of you. I'm gonna be talking a little bit more about that on a live coming within a week, maybe tomorrow. I gotta see. We got so much to do. The lives are getting harder and harder to squeeze in, but it's coming. So check it out. Thanks for popping by. Okay guys, MrPopZit here, Greg Lynch, Durham, PA. You can see we have a common occurrence that we see these very large cysts, 3-4 centimeters across, deep in the back. You can see that punctum right at the top there, the pore. That's how it starts. That pore gets clogged and then we get a sac forming in there, just like that. So we're gonna get them all numb, do a regional block all the way around. I'm gonna outline how big it is. Then we do just a little wedge, you know, kind of a little elliptical cut there. Remove that large pore, and then we'll get this whole sac out. We'll squeeze the contents out. That'll deflate the sac. We pull it through the little hole and put in some stitches, and he's gonna be brand new. So we'll get this all numbed up and be back in just a second. So we have him nice and anesthetized here. You can see the outline of the size of this cyst. We do our small ellipse. He'll feel pressure. If he has any sting, he's gonna let us know. And we always try with this ellipse to make it smaller in the cyst, so the scar's a little smaller. I haven't heard anybody complain of a too small of a scar ever. So we try. We have extra gauze over there and some Lido if needed, right? Good. Just lift up a little. There we go. And you can dab here if you want to start dabbing. Some people ask in the comments why we don't take it out in one big piece. And that would mean I'd have to cut all the way from here to here to kind of pull that sac through. So that's why we make a little bit smaller cut, and that's also why we drain the sac. So it's easier to get out. Dab there. We have a nice little island of tissue here, which is good. That's what we want. Time. Guys always have thick skin on the back, always. Very common. Down there. And you can see that cyst wall is pretty far down there from the surface of the skin, so it's a nice little deep pore going down to the edge. That's the sac lining right there. We're gonna pierce that. It's an older cyst. Sometimes it can be some pretty dry content. So we're gonna go ahead and kind of get that paste out first. You feel a little pushing, any pain. Let me know if I'm pushing too hard. And this is just flaky dead skin cells from back in the day. That's his high school right there, college. No, I'm just kidding. That's good. Very nice. Older cysts tend to be pretty dry like that, and I know he's had this a long time, so it's good to get it out. I don't think we're gonna get much more out there, but that sac is now shrunk. Any little pinches here as I'm pulling, just let me know and we'll get some more Lido if we need it in there deeper. So I use the handle of that skin that's attached, which one of the people that watch my channel called the scandal, the skin handle, which is kind of funny, appropriately named. If we are gonna feel anything, it's a little bit at the bottom of the sac sometimes, just because the lido doesn't always travel all the way down to the bottom, but that's why we go slow here and we're watching. Gonna walk that back at the bottom of the sac. There's a vessel there we're gonna have to get just down. It's always right towards the end of getting the sac out that happens. Sometimes if people used to squeeze on them, they'll get some scar tissue too. A little pinch? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll get that right there. Yeah. Let me get you a little bit more. It's the last connection always. Right there. Just down. I'm gonna get you a lido right at the very bottom. Let me know if you feel this at all, okay? It's usually right there. Right here. The bottom of the sac there. Anything here? Nothing?
Okay.
Good. Just put a little extra towards the bottom here because we're going to cauterize in that area too. So I always like to put a little extra. Good. Put a little pressure there. Tiny bit left here. No pain?
No.
Good. We put a little pressure on the sac there, or where in the pocket that's bleeding. We open up this sac. You can see here, really came down. There's a lot of tension on that sac because there's a lot in there. So it looks smaller here, but it was 2.5 times that size when it was full. Pretty fibrous wall too, so that one probably wouldn't have burst on its own. It would have just gotten bigger. So good to get that out. You can see the fat tissue on the bottom. Yeah, there's one vessel right at the surface here we're gonna get. That's good. One vessel right there. Good. That's literally like the only vessel. Isn't that amazing? I do put in lidocaine with epi, and I do let it sit usually for a couple minutes, which is a good vasoconstriction. And what that does is the small capillaries that leak into here kind of stops those. And sometimes when we're cutting, we'll hit a little bit bigger vessel. Let me know if you feel any. Okay, you're good?
Yeah,
Good. That looks nice and numb. Very good. So you can see that pocket, that thing carved out in there. It's deep, right down to the fascia. That's the white stuff here. So we're just going to close that right up, and he's going to look great. And he's going to leave a little bit lighter. Thank you. Okay, so this is our deep suture. We're going to grab some of that fascia to close the pocket here. Always align that correctly. Put it together so you don't have any overlaps of skin. And you can lift up a little because I gotta tie the knot where you're at. Nobody really likes to see these sutures sometimes anyways.
Skip it, right?
It's funny, some people are like, I fast forward it sometimes and they'll be like, I like the sutures, why'd you fast forward it? And then I won't do that and people were like, I don't want to see the sutures, that's boring. And you have a lot of people, you can't make everybody happy. It's the first thing you learn with a YouTube channel, that's for sure. All the way down. Perfect. So that's why you gotta just do you. Do your thing, do how you do it. Everybody will have opinions, no big deal. Guys have nice thick skin here, so there's plenty to grab onto. So this is good to help close the pocket. Sometimes if this cyst had been swelling and getting bigger, it is common for the skin to thin out at the top, and then, you know, this doesn't hold as well sometimes, but he's doing great. Nice thick skin. How many minutes we at? 14, 12?
We're at 9.
Wow. Man, what? 9 minutes. I'm ahead of schedule, huh? That's pretty good. I think I said 15 to 18 minutes. So well, we still got to do topical stitches. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. That's not bad. Good. Cut that all the way to the base. He did his part though. He didn't have any real big bleeders, so that's the only thing that takes longer. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. A lot of people will ask, what's the appropriate suture here? There's no one answer. Simple interrupted would be fine. I like a running just because it tends to, you only have 2 knots at each side and a nice loop that really pulls it together nicely and can still get good tissue eversion with it. So I'll usually do a running suture. People will ask about running subcuticulars, which are buried sutures that are down deep. I really don't like those for the back. Some people do them. They're not as strong, and especially on a young person, you know, even going down to put on shoes, you can have some tension on that and it can dehisce or open up. So the running stitch gives you a pretty good hold together on that and tension. We'll just do this one here. About a centimeter. Yeah, right there is good. Oh, almost. And there's always a shadow with my light. Isn't that funny? Okay, so we'll hold this with just the pinky. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And we'll do a little dab midway there. Dab, pressure. People are gonna think that was in fast forward. It was so quick. Just kidding. So I always will milk the wound here. So right before I put in that last suture, I kind of pull open and push. Nothing came out, so he doesn't have any bleeders in there. But it gets air out of the pocket, any blood or fluid that may have gone in there. I call it milking the wound. I don't think that's an official medical term, but it really describes what you're doing. Good. Little knot there at the end. And then we'll cut those. Perfect. Okay, so let's clean it up here. Take this off. And I always come and just check the tension here. We have a nice kind of that tissue eversion, that little puckering up. I can pinch right there. Almost looks like a little caterpillar. That is that eversion that we want because it takes the tension off where he's healing. All the tension is down here where the sutures are. We take those stitches out. It flattens out nice, very thin line. The back has a lot of elastin fibers, so in time, the scar does widen, but we start out, you know, with the most minimal scar we can get. So we can come up here. Thanks to him for sharing. That was a pretty textbook cyst, pretty decent size, but I don't know, 12, 14 minutes, not bad. He didn't have any big bleeders. We did a nice running stitch, closed the pocket. That sac was, it had some more room to stretch, so that would have gotten bigger and bigger in time. and we see all those abscesses I always have. The abscesses are what happens when these things pop sometimes. So getting them out now, quick and easy, 14 minutes, minimal pain, way easier than trying to drain an abscess in chunks and you can't anesthetize it. So I like to get these preemptively. So that's what we did. Thanks to him for sharing, and thanks for popping by.